Hey everyone, how's it going? So this is just another short little technical sort of analysis video, and we're going to do an overview of most of the coins that we like, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna compare the coins we like. We're gonna compare their charts to Bitcoin, because although I'm not a day trader, I do consider myself somewhat of a swing trader and a trend trader. Okay, so we want to be aware of the longer term trends, and we want to be able to hold things that we think will appreciate in value over the coming weeks and months faster than other things, right? I talked about this in my last video, and that's one of the reasons why, for instance, I like Bitcoin and Litecoin, Digibyte. I like those things more than gold and silver right now, because we can see the gold in a long-term equilibrium pattern. So let's review that, okay? We looked at this last time. This is the gold weekly chart. We can see it's making higher lows and lower highs, and it's tightening on the weekly chart. And then if we go to the monthly chart, we can see the same thing, right? It's just, it's basically the same chart, right? It's just that the candles are a month now. So we can see that, look, higher highs, or I should say higher lows and lower highs. And we're tightening, okay? We're getting pretty tight, but this probably won't break for another, at least a couple months. I know we could bull flag right here. You can see what I'm looking at. I'll zoom in a little bit. We could bull flag here and just pop up above resistance at about 1360. And if that's the case, we will change our strategy. But right now, it's just tightening, you guys. I think gold and silver are still being manipulated, and so there's no real point in rushing into gold and silver at this time, right? And silver tends to follow gold, and so if gold's still tightening, that means silver is as well, okay? So as we know, we got a pretty big Bitcoin push. This is the daily on Bitcoin. This could be another bull flag as well. We're still overbought here. If I had to pick, I would say that we have bottomed. Let's see here. Yep, there we go. Yeah, I mean, it looks like we bottomed. We have changed the weekly trend now. Well, we haven't technically until we close this weekly candle, but we can be 98% sure that Bitcoin has changed its weekly trend versus the dollar, which is a big deal. Bitcoin's the big daddy. That's where the most liquidity is, the most volume. And so the fact that Bitcoin has now changed its weekly trend versus the dollar means the whole cryptocurrency sector has basically changed its weekly trend versus the dollar. So this is the first time that we have changed the weekly trend since the bear market, okay? And this is the first time we've gotten a bull break on the weekly timeline, okay? So that's a big deal. We've changed the trend on the weekly timeline to the bulls, okay? So that's a big deal. So until we change that pattern, we're officially in a bull market for Bitcoin, okay? So that's important to realize. On the weekly trend, we are officially in a bull market, okay? So we know we're officially in a bull market. We've changed the weekly trend on the major cryptocurrencies, and we know gold's still in a tightening pattern. We can therefore deduce that it's better to hold these cryptocurrencies right now, okay? Especially ones like Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash. Okay, so let's look. We know that Litecoin has been pumping even more. If we look at the Litecoin Bitcoin chart, okay, let's go to the 1 day and zoom out here. We can see we are riding daily exponential resistance as our visual guideline, and we are making higher highs and higher lows versus Bitcoin. So that means that Litecoin is more bullish, not only versus gold and silver. Litecoin is more bullish right now than Bitcoin. So if we want maximum gains, like I've been recommending, this is not financial advice, but I recommend holding Litecoin. Okay, another very bullish coin, even compared to Bitcoin right now. And going back to the weekly, if we look at the weekly on the Litecoin Bitcoin ratio, Litecoin is in a bull trend versus Bitcoin on the weekly as well. Okay, so let's go to the Bitcoin Cash Bitcoin chart, and we can see we are also bullish versus Bitcoin on the BCH chart. Okay, we go to the daily. Look at that massive spike, insane. That Bitcoin Cash pump was something else. All right, guys. Fucking Bitcoin Cash pumped the fuck out of it. So Bitcoin Cash is basically testing what was once resistance as support. If we hold to this level, about, let's see where we at, 0.058. If we hold right around this level, we can see that if we close above it, Bitcoin Cash will have changed its weekly trend versus Bitcoin as well. So both Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash are even more bullish than Bitcoin at this point. Okay, so I'd rather have Litecoin. I'd rather have Bitcoin Cash. Another one, we can look at Digibyte. Digibyte has also changed its weekly trend. If we go up to the week versus Bitcoin, look at this, higher highs. This is, as long as we close this candle, we have officially made, and then we get one green candle, we've officially made a higher low versus Bitcoin with Digibyte as well. So at this time, I'd rather have Litecoin, I'd rather have Bitcoin Cash, I'd rather have Digibyte. And of all the coins we like, you know that I like Digibyte, I like Bitcoin Cash, I like Litecoin, I like Populus, Veritasium, Pillar, most of the Cliff High coins. We can see that several of these coins are even more bullish than Bitcoin right now. So we can say that Litecoin is more bullish, we can say that Bitcoin Cash is more bullish than Bitcoin, and Digibyte's closer, but as long as it closes this candle at a good place, we can say that Digibyte is more bullish than Bitcoin as well. Okay, so let's go look at Populus. Okay, so we were talking about comparing these coins versus Bitcoin, right? Because if these coins are going down versus Bitcoin, we'd rather hold the other coins for now. I do have a Populus bag, but I'm not adding to it because I know these other coins are more bullish, especially versus Bitcoin. Now we can see, let's zoom out here and look at this weekly trend. Okay, look at this. Populus has been wrecked versus Bitcoin, as we say in cryptocurrencies. Look, and we can see it's making lower lows and lower highs, and we haven't crossed resistance yet. We can use the exponential resistance as a visual guide, like we like to do. I learned this from the chart guys. The exponential resistance, the 12 and 26 period, make excellent visual representations. Okay, and we can see we're just grinding against resistance, lower and lower. It does look like we might be forming a rounded bottom here, and we might be due for Populus changing its weekly trend versus Bitcoin. But right now, there's no rush, and why would you risk it? Right now, I'd rather buy or have most of my capital in coins that are appreciating versus Bitcoin instead of depreciating. Now, Populus, if we go to the USD chart, it has changed its weekly trend versus the dollar. Okay, so if we go to the dollar, let's look. If we zoom in, it has barely changed its weekly trend, right? Because we got the bottom here. Let's see, we got the bottom here at about 0.797. Then we made a higher high, basically, because we went right here to, what is this one? We're actually back testing the support right now, but I think we'll close above it. I'm pretty confident. But Populus is looking bullish, and it's basically changed its weekly trend versus the dollar. Okay, but against Bitcoin, again, it has not. Okay, same with Ethereum. Hasn't even changed its weekly trend versus the USD yet. Ethereum's the weakest out of all the big caps. Maybe XRP is weakest. I don't really look at XRP very much. Again, I look at the coins that I really like. That's from a technical standpoint, actually. Because again, I'm not really a day trader. I'm not really looking to ride an XRP wave. I'm looking to put my capital into long-term swing trades that I think have solid fundamentals and will outperform certain other assets. Right? That's my deal. Okay. And we see Ethereum actually has not changed its weekly trend. It had to break 165, which it did, but it's actually pulled back. And if we close below, and so we can see that Bitcoin Cash has changed its weekly trend versus the dollar. Bitcoin has, Litecoin has, Digibyte has. Most of these coins have. But Ethereum is lagging pretty bad, you guys. So I do not recommend holding a lot of Ethereum at this time. I mean, I'm still bullish long term, and Ethereum's going to go up, but it's just looking weaker compared to the other names. Okay, so I rather own. So out of my personal picks, the most bullish I'm on right now is Litecoin, Digibyte, Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash actually looks the most bullish out of all of them. Okay, let's go to the Pillar Bitcoin chart. And I'm a big fan of Pillar, but again, there's no rush, you guys, because look, it's still just grinding against exponential resistance against Bitcoin. And it's just making lower lows and lower highs. Look at this. Lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. Lower and lower. Okay, so why would I hold Pillar right now when these other coins are making me Bitcoin? Why would I be moving to these other coins that are still in a downtrend versus Bitcoin? Okay. And so that's it. That's about it for the chart. So let's recap. This is our investing hypothesis right now. The UTXO coins will do better in beginning. Okay? And so we can see which coins are performing better than even Bitcoin right now. First of all, BCH. We want to hold BCH, we want to hold Litecoin, and we want to hold Digibyte. Okay? Those three are my most favorite coins right now for appreciating and just in pure fiat terms, okay, and versus Bitcoin. Okay, at some point we will want to move some profits from these coins, from Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and Digibyte, move profits into PPT, Veri, Pillar, and Silver. Okay, gold's fine too, but silver is very undervalued even compared to gold, and so we like silver now. But we want to wait for the weekly trends to change on these names. Okay, once weekly trend changes. Okay, so for silver, that's the weekly trend versus the dollar, and we want to move some. And then for these three, it's not really the dollar; it's mostly versus Bitcoin. Okay, well, we want to see them more bullish than these coins. But right now, the bigger market cap UTXO coins like Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and Digibyte are just really ripping and roaring. And these are what Cliff High would call train tracks, right? But the trains that move on top of the tracks, the utility tokens, as we also call them, and my favorite ones being Populus, Veritasium, and Pillar, eventually they will, I think, start to outperform the tracks, just because there's an overabundance of smart contract platforms. You know, there's Ethereum, Cardano, I can't even name. So there's EOS. There's just so many smart contract platforms, and you can do smart contracts on BCH. People don't realize, you know, you can program tokens on Bitcoin Cash. You can program tokens on Digibyte, even Litecoin, and so there's just there's going to be more and more competition in the blockchain space. We're going to see oversaturation of blockchains, and at some point the trains will start to outperform, but not yet. And we can see on the charts, right? And it's easiest to see these trends on the long-term chart. Let's go back to the PPT Bitcoin chart, for example. Since it's one of the most clear ones, especially on the weekly. Okay, you know, look at this weekly. We can just see this downtrend, lower highs and lower lows, lower highs and lower lows, and so there's no rush. I mean, we might miss the absolute bottom. Populous might get a big news event, and then it'll get a spike, but then it'll come a little bit back down, and we can get an entry. But my main thing is that there's no need rushing it, especially when these other coins are so bullish. Okay, because even if Populus does get a massive bull break right here, you know, you're still gonna make plenty of money with the Digibyte, the Litecoin, the Bitcoin Cash. Okay, and at some point we will want to take some profits into utility tokens that get us passive income, and we will want to accumulate some silver. But right now, this is not investment advice, but what I'm doing is I'm writing these mid to large market cap UTXO coins. Okay, so that's Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Digibyte. I would continue writing those three for now, for the most part. But I would still have at least a small PPT bag, at least a small Veritasium bag, at least a small Pillar bag, and I still have, you know, around 5 to 10% of my portfolio in PPT and Veritasium and Pillar, just because you never know with these coins. If it's a coin you really like long term, you should get at least a portion of your portfolio into it right away, in my opinion. Because you never, even though we can look at the charts like this and we can see it's not really going anywhere versus Bitcoin for the moment, that can change on a dime, and it could be, you know, unforeseen events can happen. You know what I mean? Where all of a sudden, who knows, they might have a big bull break and you can't really get the coin, or, you know, whatever may happen, right? So it's important to realize that. Okay, so that is our current thesis for the moment. Much bullish UTXO coins, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Digibyte. At some point, we want to move some of those profits into PPT, Veritasium, Pillar, and silver as a physical asset. And then holding off. I'm still holding off on real estate for now, because I do believe if you look at the fundamentals, maybe I'll do a separate video on that sometime, but real estate is still looking pretty bubbly to me. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace.